So, Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the movies nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars this year. Um, and I'll say this, I think it's good. I think it's a pretty solid movie. Wouldn't have nominated it for Best Picture, but I don't know. I think there's a lot to like here. There are a lot of just sloppy parts of the movie that I think are really just really sloppily handled. But overall, I think it's an enjoyable movie. I think Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury is incredible, and it gives you just a deeper look into who Freddie Mercury was just as a person. I think this movie, the pace of it is pretty sloppy. Like it just goes from they're this up and coming band that is playing in bars or whatever, and then it's just like, okay, immediately they're Queen, they're playing sold out shows, they're famous, it's amazing. Like that literally happens. It genuinely feels like immediately, and that was just very jarring. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of there's a lot of weird editing where, I don't know, like there are some times where the editors just go out of control and they're just like cutting, like just when people are talking, like the movie just has like all these random cuts, goes in like like close-ups on a bunch like different people's faces just when they're talking. It feels like it's shot like an action movie, and it's very weird. I don't know if I'm really expressing myself well there, but it just a lot of weird editing in the movie as well. Although I will say the movie, I think, gets better in like the latter half of the film, because the first half of the film just feels like, okay, we gotta run and get to when they're Queen, and then sort of once they become Queen, then the movie really starts to focus in on Freddie and how Freddie handled fame and just who Freddie was as a person. And I thought a lot of that stuff was really, really well done. And I'm kind of surprised. I don't know how much of it is necessarily accurate, but I'm kind of surprised that, yeah, they just really showed Freddie in a very vulnerable position, sort of being like, yeah, like, yes, he's this legendary singer, but at the end of the day, he's really just a guy with, you know, just with, vulnerable. He's vulnerable. He like he had issues, and they explore that. They don't shy away from a lot of it, and I thought all of that was really interesting. And then, aside from all that, the movie's also just a pretty good way to just listen to Queen songs for 2 hours. Um, like, yeah, there's constantly Queen songs. They show how a lot of them were made, how they managed to get some of the sounds, and I really like that. I actually don't think there was enough of that, of showing the creative process. They show a good amount of it, but I actually would have liked to have seen more than that. And if I would, I guess if I'm gonna have like one big major complaint about the movie, I think it maybe doesn't really know exactly what it wants to be. Like, it doesn't know if it just wants to be a Queen movie that's showing just how Queen were rock stars, right? It doesn't know if it wants to be just this very personal movie about Freddie Mercury showing his personal life, how he handled the fame. And it doesn't know if it wants to be like a Queen origin movie, so it just tries to sort of cram it all in one movie, and it just ended up being just kind of sloppy. But again, at the end of the day, it's still a really enjoyable movie to watch. So, I mean, yeah, would I have nominated the movie for Best Picture? No, but it's a really good watch. I think it's a good movie, and it's really carried by Rami Malek's performance as Freddie Mercury, because he really encapsulates who just Freddie, just the way he acted, the way he talked. It's really, it's just incredible to watch that. And I mean, Freddie, he's just maybe maybe the greatest of all time. I mean, there's never really been anyone quite like him, and I doubt that there ever will be anyone quite like him. Not just the way he sings, but the way he performs. And it was just really fascinating to get this sort of more personal look into his life. And yeah, and I will say that, like I mentioned before, that it feels like they sort of try to cram in different movies that they try to cram it all into one. But I think the real heartbeat of the film is the stuff with Freddie, just the more personal look at him. That's definitely the heartbeat of the film, and I think that's the best part of the film. And that's where I would say the most of it in the latter half, that's where it really they really focus on that. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Hey, maybe you hate it, maybe you really loved it. Tell me in the comments below. I don't know. Whatever.